are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm one of your hosts, Juan.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul LeRae.
And together we are Rollins. And family, it is time. Like I said, we never stop. For the ones that call us that we talk too much, for the ones that say, "Oh, they still never stop." Yeah, we know who you are. We're seeing it. But thank you for watching the video. So we're gonna be talking about more. Like Jean-Paul said, we're the #1 podcast. We don't try, we just do it. And with this time, Jean-Paul, for NXT Takeover 31, it was a pretty good show. The one thing about a takeover is they let the guys wrestle. Every single match has 25, 28 minutes, maybe half hour sometimes. So you can actually pull the whole spots, you can tell your story, and that's why these matches are more meaningful than the stuff that we see in Clash of Champions, the stuff we see any other pay-per-view, right, Jean-Paul?
Oh yeah, this was really good, and it was kind of like a historic thing because they changed the name of the Performance Center. What is it called now? Like the Capitol Wrestling?
Yeah.
Something like that, but they kind of changed the name and they tried to make it seem really historic, and I like how it was set up. It was like a Thunderdome, but also there was fans there. So, and I mean fans, but it was just Shotzi Blackheart and
it was family and friends from the superstars. Yeah. They were asked to bring people in.
Yeah, so I mean that was good, and it really set the atmosphere. But overall, it wasn't a very long show, which I think helped it. All the matches were good, and like you said, they all had time. There was no 5 minutes and done. The only thing that no tag teams, which is usually NXT has legit tag team stuff, but recently tag team division has been done.
Everything's done, so. And we got 2 big returns. That was it. The women's division is we went from hey, maybe Tegan is out, God knows how long, and Rhea is right there, but Raquel, Dakota, but other than that, Shotzi, but. No, there's not any other women that are going to be pushed aside of Candice. But nope, 2 big returns. And Jean-Paul sent me the tweet. It's you thought you guys believe, but believe anything is possible because Amber Moon is back and Toni Storm. So that was really cool. So, Jean-Paul, before we start the show, this. Thank you so very much for all the growth that we've seen in the channel, the views, the support, and every single one of our outlets. Jean-Paul, don't forget, to check every single one of our videos. And we're going to be starting with this NXT Takeover, an NXT UK, not Takeover, review, and, the first round of the Heritage Cup. Ilya Dragunov, Pete Dunne, it seems that they're going to be fighting Imperium. Jean-Paul loves this, but Jean-Paul told me the show is is as legit as it started, but now it's getting a little bit, okay. We're starting to digest it now, because at first, we tried, but then it's it's so good. But now we're actually just digesting it, we want a little more from next week. Right, Jean-Paul? So walk me through this. Victory Road, the results for this show.
Yeah, Victory Road, it was good. It was just, it wasn't really pay-per-view, Impact, exclusive. And it's just to get us to Bound for Glory. We didn't see any titles change, but we did see legit matches. Tenille, Jordan Grace, this match that you have right here, Eddie Edwards versus Eric Young. We did see the Rich Swann come in too. So it was exciting, but check everything that, happened by listening to the review.
Absolutely. It's a great review. And talking about reviews, I want to switch it up a little bit because we have interviews also. We actually had the chance to sit down with, the king of Lucha, the Lucha King, Felipe Jr. We get to actually share his experiences in wrestling, how he went to Mexico, Jean-Paul, during the pandemic. And during that, he was able to become the Cruiserweight champion over there in one of the companies that, has in Mexico. So, he came with, the goal and with no disease. So that's something really great that, he did. So, he talks about his career, who does he want to face, what company does he want to be in, and also, his dream matches and all of that. So, don't forget to check that out, Jean-Paul. So, now let's start with NXT Takeover 31, Jean-Paul. Look at it. That's, the design of the arena, the show. Like you said, Thunderdome, but inside the plexiglass is back also, and they had a lot of family members. They had Shotzi, like you said, a few of the wrestlers that were not in the card, right there supporting everybody else. So I really like this. It gave a new feeling, and I really enjoy this. And I think that the way people screaming and everything. Finally, I was able to get into more matches than the usual shows because we've seen people in the crowd probably 6-7 months ago. That was the last time that we saw that, right?
Oh yeah, this definitely helped, the vibe of Takeover, and it was really good, and the matches, like you said, it helped you get into them.
Again, it did, and so let's start it, Jean-Paul. North American Championship match. That's how the show opened up. the guy that wants to live forever, Damian Priest going against Johnny Gargano. This match was like a great opening match, a lot of intensity. These two guys went through hell, and a lot of, like you said, a lot of legit pinfalls, like a lot of true, really close near falls. Like Gargano, at some point, I thought he was going to become the North American champion, but Priest ends up like really showing why he carries that belt, and also why he's the right man to be pushed. The guy has a lot of intensity, great athleticism, and also like he was able to carry Gargano in a lot of parts of the match, so that's really good. Because you know how good Gargano is, so the fact that he wasn't able to show any, and not like he wasn't an equal to Johnny, I'm really happy with this. Let's hear from LeRae.
Yeah, this match was really good. I don't know if I would have had this open this show though, because it was really good. I would have maybe put another. I know you want to start off hot and get really into the show, but then I feel like this might have been my favorite match of the night. But to have it be first, then everything that follows isn't as good as maybe not the smartest thing either. But we did see some spots from when they wrestled before. Like doing the razor's edge on the apron and stuff, but it's legit spots, and really, Damian Priest has good visuals too, like when he's selling and stuff, and when he's firing up, and just everything. There was one time where Gargano had the Gargano escape, and he was like, it was like, oh, is he gonna tap? And then he gets on the ropes, and you see Priest, he has his mouth open, and he's like drooling right there in the ring. It looked like he was done. Yeah. I mean, just really good. Like you said, tons of near falls where, like, kicking out at 2.9, thought Gargano was going to win. And I thought this was, I was nervous. I'm like, man, maybe Juan picked right. And I was wrong.
No, yeah, yeah, it was good. It was good. Like you said, like the near falls were like really like the story behind it. And like you said, Priest, he's really athletic for his size, because, he's a really tall man.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He did like the dive and all of that, and he fell on top of like the referees.
Oh, yeah, when Gargano was,
yeah. Yeah, so like that was good. I mean, but in the end, like like he did the awakening on the ropes, right? Because he caught Gargano, because Gargano was going to do the last beat, and then he caught him, and then rounds it up and awakening, and he gets the pin. Absolutely great stuff, Jean Paul. I think that Priest is like establishing himself as like one of the main guys, like the top players in NXT. What do you think?
Oh, yeah, this is, if you want to equate it to something, it's like Shawn Michaels is Mr. WrestleMania. It's like beating Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, because Johnny Gargano's Johnny Takeover. This is a big win for him.
Oh, yeah.
Like first title defense, or like, major title defense at Takeover. And this is, he beats Johnny Gargano. So I think that's good for him. And we'll see. The one great thing is the mid-card is loaded for guys for him to challenge. So or to challenge him.
We gotta mention that this takeover had to be a lot of changes because of like an outbreak of the COVID and within the roster, but like it didn't feel like that. Like the way that like they did everything. Look at that. That's how we get like a North American champion, and that's the last visual that we get from him. He keeps the championship. We're all excited. And what's the next for Damian Priest? There's a lot of guys, like you said. There's like maybe Killian Dane. There's Bronson Reed one more time. Then the Austin Theory. They got like Cameron Grimes, like there's so many guys. Like
maybe a guy who we saw.
Dexter Loomis.
Yeah, maybe someone who we even saw in the next match.
Oh yeah, exactly right. Like because the next match was something that like it wasn't really for a title, but it actually was for like more like hate, and actually because like the Velveteen Dream screwed Kushida in a lot of times, especially when he was going to advance to NXT Takeover or the last Takeover for the ladder match, and the Velveteen Dream was added to this. But see, this match I like mainly the story, because we have a Kushida that has been trying to be the Kushida that everybody knows, the Kushida that we saw in New Japan. And every time that he got momentum, he got injured, so he had to be sidelined. Remember when he was teaming up with Alex Shelley? Like we were both like wanting that he will advance to the tournament and win the tag team tournament or the classic, the Dusty Classic. It didn't happen that way. But now Kushida, like the main line of the promo is like, I'm going to use you as my stepping stone. And the Velveteen Dream counters that by saying, hey, my best performances always come during TakeOver. So what do you think? I love this match. It was good. And the right winner. That's when I can say the right winner. It was good. And you know that like on social media, like fired the Velveteen Dream, completely spike up.
Oh yeah, the right winner here definitely with Kushida. I love this match. I mean, they really beat the hell out of each other, even though it was dominated by Kushida. I thought Dream did fight back a couple of times, and like when he hit the Dream Valley Driver, and then he went up and he hit the Rainmaker, but Kushida was working over the arm bar, so his arms were done. And then it took him how long to make the cover, and he kicked out. And like you see in the picture there, I did pop how he was dressed like Doc Brown
Yeah,
from Back to the Future, and then
yes,
he's in the corner and everything doing his entrance. He's like duh, and then Kushida comes out and just beats the shit out of him, before the bell even rings, and
yeah,
they're throwing chairs in the ring. So you knew that pretty much set the tone for the whole match. They were just gonna beat the hell out of each other, and they did, and it was good. And like you said, the right winner won. It was I think they were on the how did it? He was going for
So
I
he was
think the
trying
Dream
to do the
Valley
Death Valley
Driver.
driver because
Yeah.
that's how he was doing the submission called the armbar. He was doing that, but the Velveteen Dream was able to lift him up. And as he's rolling to do the Death Valley driver, Kushida kept the arm
Yeah, because I knew it
locked, and
was
then he
something
kept
that he
putting the
had him
pressure,
up.
and he goes
Yeah.
like this, and Paul, hold on. Ah,
Yep.
like that. See, that's how it is. Poor Doc. I was like, I loved it. I loved it. I love like also like you said, the whole story of the match was actually him working on the arm. He hit the ring post, like all of those things, just to get the arm, injured. So when he applies the hold, the Velveteen Dream will like tap eventually, and he'd end up doing it. So like when you see that, Jean Paul, you feel that like we picked the right guy because at least NXT they understand that this is Kushida's time. That's at least what I feel.
Yeah, now tell me what you think happened after the match when it was over and the ref goes to raise his hand and Kushida's like, okay, yeah, raise my hand, whatever. And as soon as it's over, he just beats the shit out of Velveteen
He
Dream
keeps
for it.
going, yeah. Like
And then
new
they
attitude.
almost sell it where it's like, are we supposed to have sympathy for Dream? Because it's like, no, I think people still hate him in real life. So I don't know
Yeah,
I don't know what this was.
yeah, but and like you're right. Like he kept beating him up. He applied the submission hold. He didn't want to let go, and then we were like, we are. See, there you go. He's not happy, and that's the thing. Is like it doesn't matter how good he is or like how much of like the impression that Triple H has of him, but like all the backlash that the social media are giving him, I think is like taking a little bit of toll. Because like every time that he's on TV, like fire him, fire him, fire him. At some point,
Yeah.
somebody's gonna be like, maybe they're right.
Yeah, the only way to like really let it go would just have him be off TV for a while, and then outside of wrestling, have him do like public speaking and like apologize, whatever he needs to do to be like, oh, okay, I'm legit. Like how Mike Vick was like, oh, well, let me speak out for animal rights, kind of stuff.
Yes, exactly.
Have him do stuff like that for 6 months, then have him on TV. They kept him off for like what 2, 3, 4 weeks, and then he was back. It's
Yeah,
like,
and more
oh,
like the
okay,
thing like Ibarra. At least with Ibarra, say like as
yeah,
soon as like the stuff happened with him, he said like, so I talked to her, we're good, So and then they
yeah.
haven't what like a month, but like then he came back, but like he was fine, and they said oh he was gonna get fined big time. So like if they say like oh we're punishing him so people can see. And do you hear anybody saying why Sammy Guevara's on TV? No, they're good. Like I agree with you. That's a good way to like wash the name of the Velveteen Dream clean. And we got more like stuff like breakthrough like news, right, Jean Paul? We're gonna be Halloween Havoc is back.
Yeah, and it's actually hosted by Shotzi Blackheart, so that'll be cool. That's almost like Elvira or Elmira, whatever. You know who I'm talking about, right?
The monsters? No, the
Yeah, she
no.
was like, yeah, she almost looked like the Bride of Frankenstein, but she had the ooey sticking
Oh,
out.
okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, the monsters. Then there's the
yeah,
monsters.
yeah.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about. It's gonna be cool, and it's gonna be actually hosted like in 2 weeks. I think 2, 3, yeah, 2 weeks around that, 2.5 weeks, and it's gonna be on a Wednesday. On a Wednesday, it's not gonna be a Sunday. And like Shats is gonna host it, like you said. It's cool that like at least they're using this name because you
Yeah.
know how many things happened on the WCW days in Halloween Havoc. And
Mm-hmm.
then they didn't want Cody to have it. Like we gotta add that extra line right there, right, Jean Paul?
Oh yeah, but I mean, I'm excited for it nonetheless.
Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be good, and hopefully they play out with that. They have EO also in the promo, so that was pretty cool. I'm really excited to see what they have to offer that day. And it's of course maybe like they're gonna AEW is gonna have something, so they're gonna do this to counter that. But something that like we cannot counter is this match: Santos Escobar defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Isaiah Swerve Scott. This was really, really good. These two guys gave us a like really cool match. Hard hitting, but also at the same time they gave us what we expect from cruiserweights. high flying, like near falls. And Santos Escobar looked really great. Isaiah Swerve Scott, look, I think he gave me one of his best performances, ever. But I think that he came out on a little show, Jean Paul.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course, our boy Santos wasn't going to lose, so, Scott came out a little short, but the one thing I will say, this match was really great. It lived up to the hype, lived up to the story. I like in the beginning when both guys, it was like a stalemate. It was almost like, it reminded me of RVD, Jerry Lynn, how it's like they kept going move for move. They got up, posed at each other, the same, fists out, like, come on, let's do this thing. That was really cool, but then I feel a lot of it, Scott dominated, and Santos was, kind of just on the retreat, on the defense, like, oh my God, I'm getting my ass kicked. And I was like, not that it was a bad thing because we got the ending that, we got and the ending that I personally wanted, but I would like to see the champ a little more strong. And then we did see some interference. We had the rest of Legado del Fantasma come out. And it was like, okay. But I mean, yeah, and then there was a couple spots like that where, they flipped him, and then he was supposed to take them out. I assume he was, and all three guys were supposed to be done, but they kind of just caught him and then, gently fell to the ground, and they're like, oh, you're legit, boss, right? Oh, okay, yeah, you're legit.
You're legit, boss. I like that. You're legit. You're good, boss, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the match, Isaiah Swerve dominated, towards the end. That's when he got the big comeback, but, Santos, throughout the whole match, I love the line in the promo that we got, in the last show of NXT, which we also covered. He goes, you call my bag of tricks is what I call, the sanctuary of tradition. I love that line.
Yeah.
Santos Escobar is able to, create those moments through those lines. I just love it. And, he did the Phantom Driver because, like you said, to do thanks to the interference. Then, the Isaiah Swerve Scott kicked out of that. And look at the face. That means that Rollrae covers every single show in the professional wrestling world. Yeah, we do, Santos. Yeah, I love that. See how he sells the fact that he couldn't put away Isaiah Swerve Scott. I really like that, but then I'm thinking, Isaiah Swerve Scott's gonna win. I'm like, oh, that sucks. They're gonna get a new champion. But no, that didn't end up being the case, Jean Paul. Isaiah Swerve Scott tried with everything he got, but no. In the end, actually, Santos Escobar is able to retain. But see, walk me through that because I didn't like how the match ended, though. Because you do this big spot. You kick that out like the best move of the heel, and then you end up getting pinned by something that is not as lethal as as the main thing. So what do you think of that?
Yeah, what did he even hit him with? It was some
weird. It was like a backbreaker, but it was kind of Oshigoroshi, like a fisherman's carry, and then he kind of did it into the back. Even they say that it was a backbreaker.
Yeah, now they were selling the back and oh yeah, it's done, but I would have had him hit that. Cover him, and then maybe be have him either kick out of that, or he hits him with it, and then he just picks him right up, puts him in the Phantom Driver, and then pins him. It's okay, yeah, he kicked out of it once, but I hit this other big move, I hit it again, he's not kicking out.
Yeah, I mean, and also
because it's called a finisher for a reason. It's not, it finishes the match.
Yeah, that, and also like I said to you, okay, that reaction of oh my gosh, he kicked out of my finisher normally calls for the face to win the match. It normally calls for the face to
either that or a bullshit roll up.
Yeah, and but no, in the end, actually, Santos Escobar gets the win, and we get to see this great picture of our cruiserweight champion. At least you and me predicted that Santos Escobar was going to retain, so I was really happy with that. What's going to happen with Isaiah Swerve Scott? We don't know. Because even he got the help of somebody that he got a promo a little later on. And, he's one or another one, the cruiserweights. Is what is his name, Jean Paul? Help me out here.
Oh, the name escapes me. We'll have to, someone else who covers 205 Live will have to report that name to your family because we that's the one thing we can't do.
Yeah, it was Adonis. Adonis is the name. Adonis, that's his name. He came out to help out Isaiah Swerve Scott. So that's how, he was able to kind of even the odds because Legado del Fantasma was right there. But in the end, I feel that, the right person won. Also, it opens up for, other cruiserweights to try to lobby for a championship opportunity. So, I don't know. This rivalry, to me, is over. It's dead. Nobody wants to see that anymore. And see, we're going to see a picture of Adonis right there. He actually went for, he challenged Santos Escobar. So, he's the next guy. So we're gonna see what happens with this guy because we barely know him. Like you said, when we don't watch
Well,
205
that
live.
that should be a feud, and no offense to him, I'm excited to see how legit he is. But this is just a feud for Santos for them to be like, okay, who's going to be the next legitimate competitor? Because the feud with Swerve Scott was good, but
Oh yeah.
now what are they going to do? They need to think of another good feud to do. So this guy is just like the in between.
Yeah, it's like what do they call it? The rebound. The
Yeah.
relationship is the rebound. So talking about like rebounds, we got to like the official theme of NXT Takeover was Culture Head by like our boy Corey Taylor. At least Jean Paul loves Slipknot. I love Slipknot and also like Stone Sour. So he's really good. I like his music. I mean, he's kind of going. You can see like a little more poppy. More like stream, like what is it called? Mainstream. That's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to like get more audience because like already in the metal world, rock world, like he's pretty well known, and he loves wrestling though. Remember years ago he had that thing with Baron Corbin, so he's been supporting NXT since the beginning. So good stuff. Like they use like his music for like the theme song for NXT Takeover. So now Jean Paul, let's go to like the women's side of the match. See, we're almost done. He's already done. So right
exactly, here, yeah. A 5-match show is actually enjoyable.
Very enjoyable, and we can do it really quick, right, Mr. X? So like this turned out to be really, really good. Not as good as like their previous matches, but like you said, that was the main story. It's like we fought before, but see, I like how they tied everything up. Remember when Io went nuts? Who does she went nuts on when Io turned heel? She turned heel on Candice, and Candice is like, why did I turn heel? Because I was the sister or the mom of everybody, and I got tired of that because I never received anything in return. So I really like this. And the fact that like they were able to give us a good match, not as good as like the one that they gave us a year ago. And I think it was NXT Takeover Toronto. Or like one of those NXT takeovers. Like at least they gave me something that I was able to enjoy. What do you think?
Yeah, and then to go off that same point, I'm not comparing this to like The Rock versus Stone Cold, but if you want to compare like those series of great matches, nobody's gonna say that their second match or the last match in their feud. What was that, WrestleMania? What was it, 15?
15 was the first one, then 17 was like the second one, and then 19 was
19.
the third one.
Yeah, no one will say that 19 was better than 17.
No,
17, people will be like, that's the legit. That's the same thing with these two women. What was that? Takeover Toronto 2, I believe it was?
Yes.
Or when they had that, fantastic match. No one will say that this one was better, but it was the end of the feud, I would say, at least for now. And, it was great. We got the right winner. It started off a little slow for me. Coming off, those first... even the Kushida match, even though it was for nothing, it was just kind of a grudge match. But those first 3 matches for me were really good, and then this, which I wanted to be excited, but I just felt it was just like, okay, like we needed a match that like we didn't really care about to kind of just be like to recharge, and we didn't really get that all because it was only 5 matches, and all of them we kind of cared about besides, like I said, maybe the one that wasn't for the title. But exactly. I mean, this was good, and you see right here at the end that to skip ahead, the ref takes 2 bumps. One by Candice first, and then Io hits him. So then Johnny comes in, and then he does 1, 2, and then I thought he was actually going to count 3, and then they were going to be like, oh, Candice won, and then obviously it wouldn't count. But I love when Io kicked out at 2.
Yeah.
From Johnny's fast count, and then they're both like,
they're like, really pissed. Yes. And the referee got up. The referee's like, no, you should go. He's like, and then Johnny goes, no, you should go. And they keep going at it. So Johnny like takes off the referee's shirt, and then as he's leaving, like he allows Candice to hit Io with the belt.
And what did you think at that moment? Like legit, because I thought that was going to be it. I thought they were going to go with the jump.
Yeah, old-fashioned WWE. That was like, oh my gosh, like Candice is going to win, and it's legit. Like this was the heel, his tactic ways. It's like old school, like the way that Attitude Era days. But actually, Io kicks out. Everybody's like, oh my god, because he had Wade Barrett back again. We got Big Joseph, Beth Phoenix, and then we got Johnny like throwing a tantrum right there. It's like, no rope break tomorrow. No, Johnny, we need a break. We need it. That's why our name is Rope Break, because we take breaks every single rope. So that's what it is. Like but these allow like Io to get here the offense. The one thing, Candice doesn't do her finisher often, and that's maybe something that they could actually add. Like the swinging net breaker from the top. That is something that she didn't do, and she should do. She should have done that. At least, if they
I do like that one. I do, now maybe this is her new finisher, or at least it's her signature. But they call like the Wicked Stepsister, where she like grabs them by the arms and then stomps their head into the mat.
Yes.
I don't
Yeah.
know if that's the new finisher or if that's just, like I said, her signature. But I mean, she did hit that on Io. That was legit. And the ending of this thing, moonsault, and done. So
And
it
that,
was good. But I know I was hoping maybe for the title change. I thought you could have did something, and then like you and I were talking because there was a promo from Rhea. I think it was in the pre-show how she's like, "Oh, I don't care who wins. I want to face the winner." Blah blah blah. And maybe they could have did something where Candice wins. She has the title for not very long, drops it to Rhea, and then somehow drops it back to Io. I know it's like hot potato, but then you could promote Rhea to the main roster, or maybe you just do that. But it would have been cool to see Candice win. But now that we know, you're going to take us to what happened after the match. The whole women's division is wide open.
Right. Okay, Io's right there, looking beautiful. Like a beautiful picture of Io Shirai, and holding the NXT Women's Championship, absolutely amazing. But then, like, they kind of like the hair camera pan to like the Titantron, and then we got to see the return of one of like the most beautiful women in professional wrestling, if not the most, if not the most beautiful women, and that's Toni Storm. Like a woman that has been disappeared from like WWE NXT UK, and remember the story that they did is like if she would have lost to Kaylee Day, like she would leave, she would not be allowed anymore there. So right there, she's right there. Like we don't see Juice, but he was probably right there, juiced out because of all the stuff that they do. And we got to see her, and she says, "Hey, I'm back on NXT. Really cool match. I enjoyed what you guys did, but hey, I'm coming for that." So that means that like she's probably gonna move to America. She's not going to stay in the UK.
And who did? And she beat Io Shirai in the Mae Classic, yeah,
and a few times in like in Japan also. So there's a big rivalry. These two have history, but I mean, like to the moon. And talking about the moon, Jean Paul, we got to see a motorcycle, and we thought it was Bo Dallas, but I'm like, why they keep like showing footage of Io? Why? Because like the camera kept showing Io, because this shows up, boom, Toni Storm, okay, I'm back. Everybody's like, da. So like they keep showing that, and then Io's just like, so what am I doing here? But then we see the motorcycle, and we thought it was Bo Dallas because we thought that Bo is gonna lobby for an opportunity for the women's championship, but no. Ember Moon Simple. This was good. This was good.
This was the ultimate Isaiah Swerve Scott, because nobody saw this. People were saying, "Oh, Bobby Roode," saying the same thing we did. Oh, he had the match against Drew. That was his farewell. Now back to NXT. People were saying, "Bo, leave." And I even sent you that tweet by Ember Moon. She's like, "Oh, look what happens if you just Bo leave."
Yeah.
And then that's her returning. And this is great. She was so good in NXT with her feud with Asuka and everything. And then, she had Shayna Baszler, but she kind of got fed to Shayna and then got called up, and then, that complete flop. So I'm glad that, she was able to recover from her injury, because she said, "Oh, I might not even wrestle again. It might be done."
Yeah. Yep.
But I think that was more of a, hey, like if I'm going back to chase the 24/7 title, I'd rather be retired. And then Triple H was probably like, "No, if you rehab and you're legit, you can come back to NXT." And she's like, "Oh, okay, legit."
No, yeah, like, and then she did it, and now she's good, and we're really looking forward for a division that like got two main names, one in the case of like UK Championship, former champion Toni Storm, and an NXT Women's Champion in the case of Ember Moon. So right there, you have a lot of feuds because
and the one thing they did say that the motorcyclist was a former NXT champion.
So like it makes sense.
It is Ember Moon.
So yeah, like they did this.
The cool thing is she wrestled Asuka, wrestled Kairi. Now she can come back wrestle Io.
Oh yeah, and you said maybe the Eclipse and that.
Yep.
So like we'll see what happens. We'll see if it is Toni. We'll see if it is Ember. But at least they're giving another chance to Ember to be.
Now I would love to see that needs to be the number one contenders match.
Yeah, and Rhea Ripley needs to just be away. Like I wouldn't mind if she gets drafted. That would be absolutely fine. She can do better in the main roster. It just means for me, Rhea just like had her time on NXT. Let these other women.
Rhea is like she's a legit character and like a legit wrestler and everything, but she's pushed like the Roman John Cena, where it's like she's gonna win, so it's like
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't like it too much. But like good stuff. Like we're really excited about the women's division. Probably NXT is looking at Impact Like see the fact that they were able to have two great matches yesterday, Victory Road. I mean, NEW, I don't think they care about that. They shouldn't.
No,
There's no reason
not
to
when
care.
Brandy Rhodes is doing like cannonballs off the top, taking
And
the
it
Dark
takes the
Order
whole
out.
Dark Order. There's no reason when you have to worry about that. The only thing you can do, you grab a remote, boom, and you change the channel on that. And you change the channel to the main event, John Paul, right there.
Yeah.
Finn Balor against Kyle O'Reilly. This was a pretty good match. We knew that this was going to be a good match. These guys like almost weighed the same. They're the same height. So, like it was going to be really good because it's just going to be who is the real best man between the two of them. 15 years in experience on Kyle O'Reilly, 20 years in Finn Balor. And also the fact that like they know each other and they wanted to fight each other for so long, and they have this chance to showcase their abilities and see like for the first 15 minutes of this match, it was pure professional wrestling. Holds one and the other, lock like arm bars and stuff like that, just like holes. But then it's like when they actually move to the actually like do moves, suplexes, and all of that. I really like this. I think Kyle O'Reilly looked really good. I can see Kyle O'Reilly kind of like having his own singles pulls while still being in the Undisputed Era. And Finn Balor, well, is our champion. He's the prince. He has the belt, and like I don't think that like Kyle O'Reilly would never, you and me knew that he was not going to become champion. That championship can be taken by, for me, Karrion is the guy that has to take care of that championship. What do you think, Mr. Eck?
Yeah, you said it perfectly. Had a match. It started. What did I say to you beforehand? It's reminded me like a New Japan match. It started off kind of slow, and it's like okay, they do the holds, they feel each other out, wear each other out a little bit. Once it starts going, the blood starts going. Then it's the big moves they pull out. And it's like I hit you with a power bomb, and then sell it, and I love that sequence towards the end when I forget which moves they hit, but then Balor hit the Pele kick, and it sent O'Reilly into the ropes, and then he came back with a clothesline, and I mean it was just really good, really hard hitting. What was the spot that busted that O'Reilly? It was the kick, or he kicked him or kneed him. Yeah,
the knee. He did like a big knee, like he had it on the turnbuckle, and he hit a knee, and that was it. That bust him open, really bad. But I like this in the match before Kyle O'Reilly won the ring. Jean Paul and myself, like Jean Paul, I'm going on a date. Okay, then be legit. Be legit right there. That was a good send-up. At least for me, I like how like the Undisputed Era, they're always together. Like they're like supporting like whoever guys has an opportunity. I like that. And in between these two, like there's a big friendship. So I like that. And like you said, like this, I think that Balor was able to showcase like his wrestling ability a little more, but then also like the fact that he was able to continue because he got busted open really bad. Like his mouth was like all covered in blood. And that shows the intensity that they were fighting with.
What did you think of that? Like when O'Reilly, they're like, he got hit in the midsection really bad. We don't know if he's bleeding it like internally, and they were even saying, maybe the ref should stop this. And then they were like, well, if this wasn't for the championship, the ref probably would have. But he's not going to call this. He's going to let these guys fight. O'Reilly said he's good. Did you like that? How they were really trying to like push the babyface thing, even though both of these guys were technically baby faces, but O'Reilly was more of like the cocky kind of attitude before going into this. Then they kind of flipped it because Balor was really beating him down, kicking him until O'Reilly started to make the comeback towards the end a little bit. But
what I think is like what you're mentioning, I agree with you. I think that like I've heard in the reports that now Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole are going to be like big baby faces in what it is NXT. And I just think that, like, yeah, they're kind of, like, sell it a little bit just because they need that from Kyle O'Reilly. I mean, they know that he can put up with, like, that kind of character, and they were just building sympathy for him. Hey, like, Balor, like, kicking really hard. Stop the match and all of that, because now people are not used to finish some matches because of all, like, they're trying to prevent. I understand that. But, of course, they have to sell this this match, this feud. And because I think, for me, it's, like, one-time deal. I think that they're not going to have any more feuds. Somebody else needs to come because, for what we have, it was good and that's it. For example, do you see yourself another Kyle O'Reilly Finn Balor? I don't think so. I just don't think.
Oh, no.
I just don't want to see it. So
no, this was like, hey, we need to do something new with Undisputed Era. Who's a guy who we didn't push? Roddy was obviously pushed in singles. Same thing with Cole. Let's do O'Reilly, Finn Balor. That'll be a legit match. These guys probably wanted to wrestle each other for a long time. They even said they did in the promos. So let's do it. But this isn't going to be a classic. This isn't something like Lee and Dijakovic or T-Bar or whatever. No, this was a match. Hey, this is cool. Oh, you want to go back and watch this in a couple years from now? Hey, do you remember when Finn Balor went against Kyle O'Reilly? Go back, watch Takeover 31. But no, you're not going to see like a series of matches from this.
Exactly. So like this was good and see like a coup de grace. Well, 1916 coup de grace, and like the coup de grace really well executed. Then he hooks one of the leg, not both legs, and then like I said, busted open. Look like that. Right there, looking red for rope break. We appreciate that from Finn Balor. So actually, they show respect between each other. They kind of like they hold like hell, like they give a handshake, right, Jean Paul, like that, right? See, legit, good match. But in the end, I'm the better man. But see, like we thought, like it was gonna be the end of the show. We're gonna get ready to record. It's all good. But then we get this, Jean Paul.
Yeah, to be honest, I almost turned it off before this. I kept it on. I'm like, no, I'll keep it on for a little bit while I get ready, and then good. I'm glad I didn't because Rich Holland comes out, and of course, I don't know why it had to be Adam Cole. Maybe like you said, if he takes out the leader, that shows that he's legit. Mm-hmm. But I would have rather have it be another guy. So it's like Adam Cole's not getting his ass kicked. Every other month, he's getting beat up. But, Adam Cole gets laid out, and then the rest of the Undisputed Era is like, did you see it? I didn't see what was going on.
That was bad. See, I
didn't like that. I'm like, really?
No, they go to Balor. Did you see it? And it's like, what am I supposed to see? I just had a match.
Yeah.
Like, really? Am I supposed to say that, where the guy went? If I'm making sandwiches, did you see it? No.
What's he supposed to say to Oreilly, like, mid-match? Hold on, I don't know where Adam Cole is. I need to go see if he's okay.
Yeah. So, like, we got, like, that. Rich Holland, like, carry Adam Cole, and then he drop it into the ring, and it's like,
So now, what is this? Is this Rich Holland about the feud with Undisputed Era or feud with Finn Balor? That's the thing I didn't understand. I'm like, or both.
Or both. We will see that on next Wednesday. But, I mean, it builds, like, more feuds, so that's good. And also, like I saw in a report that Karrion Kross is looking closely to, who was going to keep the championship. So maybe, like, Karrion Kross is going to come back in, like, maybe a month. Like, we'll see. Because I don't think that, like, his injury is as bad as, like, first, like, thought. So that's good because then Karrion comes back. We got Scarlett again, so that's legit. And then, we can actually have that feud. But now a babyface Finn Balor going against Karrion, at least for me.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be good, but I don't know if I would maybe. I mean, it all depends his timetable, but I feel like that would be forced if he comes back and then with the first month that he's back, it's like, oh yeah, he's the title holder again.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, they will have to fight for it, but at least like you can build a whole feud, and then maybe Finn Balor wins the first time. And then they keep going until then you put.
I'm gonna make the bold prediction that don't be surprised if when they get called back, they go right to the main roster. Or not called back, when he comes back.
Oh, and then when he comes back, he goes to the main roster? Hopefully not, because that will be taking all the mystique from Karrion. He deserves a lot better. Like he was like the Finn Balor of like NXT.
But the one thing, do you think they would mess up his gimmick? Because like they still keep the Fiend kind of scary and with that with everything like Alexa Bliss, it would almost be the same thing.
Well, we said that. We said like there should be like an intergender match. For WrestleMania, it should be Alexa Bliss and The Fiend going against Karrion and Scarlett. You have the two of the hottest women in professional wrestling.
I'd rather just have them be at ringside and maybe fight each other, but then have Karrion and The Fiend just one-on-one, because that would be more legit.
And then maybe Karrion as the baby face and The Fiend maybe the heel or backwards. It doesn't really matter. But at least you have the idea right there. Maybe if you want to have them ringside, or at least for me maybe a tag. Like I said, we'll see. But I think that you are not far from the prediction right here. It's not a bad prediction. So we maybe see this at WrestleMania, or maybe we see it at SummerSlam. But definitely down the line, we'll end up meeting with this feud. I can really see it because of the way that like Alexa is like aligned with the Fiend right now. They can keep that until like who's gonna break this? Karrion and Scarlett.
But for another feud, for what we saw at the end of the show before we wrap it up here, I could easily see Balor versus Ridge Holland at Halloween Havoc.
Yeah, that could be if they want to do like a quickie one, like hey, let's do a little bit of build up right there, and then of course Balor will go over, and then kind of Ridge gets like, oh okay, I got a championship match, I'm not a nobody anymore because I come up with all this hype from UK.
Because you could even do something where like then Adam Cole, the ref has his back turned, Adam Cole, super kick, and then you do that feud or something.
And done. So yeah, it was good. So we enjoyed this show, family, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this also. Don't forget to find us also in our newest home, All Everything Entertainment. Family, this is our newest home. We are gonna put all our content there, all of our videos. Jump on and I are gonna start writing a little bit of articles, some things that for like the time of the show, we don't like to go 2 hours, 2.5 hours like some other like people. They weren't not mention any names, but we would just like to keep you short and sweet for every single one of you, because as Jean Paul always says, it's like the meat and potatoes. You don't want to have like 3 dishes of meat and potatoes. One is enough. So like, just please check us out there. Also like sports, like NFL, like soccer, a lot of like TVs, movies. I just found out that like the Wonder Woman movie is gonna be like the thing they're gonna have it next year because of the COVID and everything. Thanks to like All Everything Entertainment. So there you go. At least I was able to learn something new right there. And now, Jean Paul, take us through like our social media.
Well,
Wait.
you can learn where to find us on social media right now. You can find us on Facebook on the Rope Break, Twitter the OG Rope Break, Instagram the original Rope Break, and right here on YouTube for the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the original Rope Break.
That's right. And remember, Monday Night Raw is gonna be hopefully a good show, and you have like the man right there, the best booker in the business. Jean Paul Egg will be talking about every single thing that happens in that show. We hope that like more situations happen and developments for Hell in a Cell, but we'll see you then, family. So please take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you guys soon. And we have one more thing that is left to say, Jean Paul, and that is.